Peace and all goodness be yours, brothers and sisters of St. Barbara Parish and Old Mission Santa Barbara. So good to be with you today on this sunny afternoon, and I feel very grateful to be here with Steve Nagelman. Steve has been an active part of this parish for many, many years. His parents were actually married here at the Mission Church. He and his wife, Dee, were married here at the Mission Church themselves. And just to know of your skills, Steve, that you've engaged in various projects around the mission, it's so good that you're here. Can you tell us a little bit about your background with some of the skills that you've learned over the years? I think you were with your father's trade as well.
Well, I grew up as the son of a painting contractor. He did a lot of work around Santa Barbara and some of the beautiful homes here, as well as the reconstruction of the towers that were done in the early 50s. And growing up, I always took note of some of the specialty finishes that were done by his craftsmen that he had on his payroll. And much of it was done inside the mission or on the mission grounds. And I just was always fascinated by the way that work was done, and some of the imitation marbling and all the other special glazes and colors and things. So I took an interest in it, and I really just kind of worked at trying to learn some of that. And I had some great teachers over the years, through the trades, and I just picked up on it.
Well, was there any project that you worked on that was a favorite of yours that you have take special pride in, or that was especially fun for you?
Right here at the mission, probably the work on those towers. The towers were rebuilt, as I said, in the 50s, and then in the 90s I was asked to redo them again, and with the imitated stone look on the bell towers themselves. So I did that, and they're looking a little faded now after 30 years, but I still think they look pretty good.
I think they do too. Steve. What about maybe a story that can help us understand maybe a turning point in your own life where you felt personally you were getting connected to the faith community here? Because you've served as a Eucharistic minister, you now sing in the choir. What was the turning point that led to that? You told me a story earlier that I think would be fun to share.
Well, as a kid, my mother was a convert, and sometimes converts are even more intense as Catholics than those of us that were baptized at birth.
Yeah.
And so my mother would bring us to church every day, and we'd go back for the rosary. So she really included us a lot in growing up, and I went to Catholic schools all through high school. And as many kids my age at that time, we got kind of burned out, and I backed away from the church. And when she became older and got to the point where she couldn't drive, she still found a way to get here to the Old Mission for church every Sunday. And I told her, I said, "Mom, you can't go up those steps alone." So I told her I would start bringing her. And of course she said, "Well, that's one way I can get one of my kids to go back to church." So I started bringing her, and then I just got more and more involved as, like you said, a Eucharistic minister. I was on the pastoral council a couple of times.
Oh my gosh.
In the choir and that sort of thing. So I've just become attached, and it's just meant so much to me to be back in here involved. So, yeah.
Steve, we're standing in front of the creche scene, which is not typically how the creche looks here at Mission Santa Barbara. Do you want to say something about the history of the creche building and what's happened this year?
Well, there's a core group that's always put the creche together every year, and it's always been people like Owen Gouteau, who we just lost a couple of months ago. Stuart Carroll, who wasn't able to help out this year. And with the virus and everything else, we just thought that maybe it should be scaled down a bit and just done in a simpler fashion. And so this is the way it was constructed for this year. And hopefully, when things are better, we can go back to the old creche, assembly. So.
Well, I have to say, I was really inspired at how the crew that we did have was able to adapt and kind of come up with an alternative, because we did want to honor Owen, because Owen poured himself into this mission project for probably 5 decades, and so we're here now, and as you said, with a simpler design, but one that we hope will continue to inspire our visitors, many of whom have already come by to take a look. So to all of you watching, thank you so much for your attention, for your continued generosity, and especially during this Advent journey. May the Lord give you peace.